Good morning and thanks so much for tuning in. You're watching Ask BQ on BQ Prime. My name is Alex Mathew. Like the name suggests, this show is aimed at getting you all of the answers to your stock related questions. We are live on all social media platforms, so I'd encourage you to send us all of your questions on either the chat or, in fact, on the WhatsApp number that should be flashing on your screens. Joining me to answer all of your questions, I have a couple of guests. We've got Rohan Mehta, who's the founder and portfolio manager at Turtle Wealth, and we've got Ravi Singh, who's a market expert. Gentlemen, thank you so much for taking the time. And as is the case over the last couple of days, we've been doing this. I've been calling it Ask BQ Focus, where we focus in on a particular stock. The biggest gainer today on the Nifty 50 is Eicher Motors, and there's one particular brokerage note that seems to have gotten a lot of investors enthused. Jefferies put out a note a short while back reiterating its buy stance and also raising its target. And that implies quite an upside, I think about 20% from the current market price, if I'm not mistaken. They are saying that they're expecting limited impact from the fresh competition from Hero MotoCorp as well as Bajaj Auto. But I'd like to come to both of you. First, Rohan, of course, on the fundamentals, and then I'll come to you, Ravi, on the technicals. But Rohan, what is your opinion about, one, the context that is in the motorcycle space, and should you buy into Eicher Motors at this juncture?
Yeah, good afternoon and good morning, both together. I've been a very, very big enthusiast of personally onto the motorcycles and automobiles, and also I've been a very early investors into the whole automobile story. And now, Eicher Motors, the only thing which gets a hint out of Eicher Motors, it has not outperformed the markets. Basically, whatever we see, the competition has been there. It was aiming one of the most important, spotlight of being into Royal Enfield, and now there will be Harley's, there will be certain Java, which will be a competition, and now the market penetration is already, I think so. Most of the things have been done. Now the only thing is a fundamental guy or a portfolio manager look forward is that what is the other re-rating opportunities I can get in Eicher Motors now, because the valuation is now justified at 30 times, and the growth is also good. But I need something else. We got it into TVS Motors, and from the EV story we got it into Bajaj Auto with the merge. Now the same thing we want into Eicher Motors. Still, there is no re-rating in something new, freshly happening into the company. I think so. It would not be an outperforming stock into automobiles point. So I would be a person who will wait and watch what is happening new into this company.
Okay, so no taking fresh positions. What about the technicals then? Coming to you, Ravi, on the charts, how does it look? Would you suggest that there's room on the technicals to make some money?
Yeah, definitely, because we have seen uptrend, very strong uptrend today. So Eicher Motor is looking strong on the technical parameter, and the daily and is suggesting strong up ahead. So resistance is near 3,800 and on daily chart, and support is 3,300 on daily basis. So the long-term moving averages are trading above the stocks, and momentum indicator like RSI, MACD, Williams are in a buy zone. So in this scenario, we can see the target of 3,800 levels in near term. So Eicher Motor is very strong. So we can take a buy position from current level with a stop loss of 3,300.
All right. Right. So there's the view on Eicher Motors. We've got a couple of questions that have already come in, but I'd like to tell everybody that's tuning in, you can ask as many questions as you can, and we'll take as many as we possibly can over the next 20 minutes or so. We've got Sachin, who's asking about a recent or a new entrant from the perspective of the action in the primary markets. We've seen quite a bit of that in the recent past, right, Rohan? So the company we're talking about is Updater Services. The IPO opened yesterday, so there's still a while to talk about it. What can you tell us about that if you've looked at the company?
I'm sorry.
You haven't. All right. Let's talk about Tria Infotech then. And Sachin, by the way, we've got quite a bit of coverage on the website as well on updater services. In fact, we should have a link up in just a bit, so you can watch the website for more information on that. Tria Infotech, we've got Rashida, who's bought at levels of 93. On the fundamentals, do you have a view, Rohan?
Yeah, see, this company we are hearing from last 2-3 quarters there have been turnaround stories which is going to happen, but we don't believe into stories till the number doesn't turn up. Still, the companies make loss. I would not be able to recommend what to do it, but if you have a position to hold it for at least 1 or 2 quarter, I think so you should see because you have already done a loss of 50%. I think so it's the time to see that company. If it turns around in next 2 quarters, it could be a good buy.
Okay. Ravi, on the charts, what can you tell us about Tria Infotech, and what immediate stop loss would you put based on the current trends?
See, based on the current scenario, I think the stock is in a more in consolidation, and we have seen very up move in this stock. So from the current level, risk reward ratio is not good, I think, in a technical front. So shorter period, I think may avoid, because I don't think so we can find the risk reward ratio is good. So I'll try to avoid.
But what if you've taken a position, if you bought at levels of 93, would you suggest an exit?
See, because its trading is 93, now the stop loss would be the risk reward ratio is 73. So that's why I'm just do the avoiding. Yeah, definitely we can book the position.
Okay. Book it. Rashida is the call coming in, and no fresh entry at all at this point is what the fundamental view is. Karan has got a question on Sterlite Technologies. By the way, it's in the news, and we did speak with the management today about a new plant that they've opened up in the US and focusing on optical cables. What's the view, Rohan, on the fundamentals? Would you say that Sterlite is a good buy at the current levels?
See, again, the story comes is that there are a lot of things which are happening into the cable segment and technology side, specifically onto the transmission side. Seeing Sterlite, every time what happens is that the company doesn't come into that parameter where you can invest and have a conviction to it, looking at the numbers. So it's an avoid from our side.
Okay, on the technical Sterlite Technologies, a fundamental is an avoid, but what can you tell us, Ravi, on the charts?
See, we have seen very strong resistances near 177, but now is enough correction. So, in short-term investor or the long-term investor can take position from the current level, because we may see again 177 to 185 levels. So put the stop loss of 155 and buy at current level is trading at 160 levels for the target of 177 and 185.
Okay. Tanvi Desai has got a question on sugar stocks. Indeed, yesterday, this entire pack was buzzing, and quite a few of those stocks ran up in trade. Rohan, the question is, why are they going up, and what should they do what should Tanvi do? Should she pick up one of these names, one of the sugar names?
You see, I think so. What has happened is that if you see on a longer term scale, with last 14-15 years, nothing has happened to sugar. And then into post 2021, that is post COVID, the stories of sugar cane started to hit markets, and the prices were much better. And we saw a good rise into sugar stock, and then we saw again a pause. And then the ethanol story of blending with petrol and the fuel started. So we are extremely positive onto the companies who are really doing very good. Names like Praj, names like Balrampur Chini, which we are also invested into. These are all names which could do superior, and the value of what we are getting right now is much better than the price. So over the period of time, there is a great value where the price will discover, and it would be a good wealth creation opportunity.
All right, but which are your top? Which would you say are your top picks in the sugar space?
Yeah, so sugar, ethanol, I'll put both together because it's not only sugar. So Praj Industry and Balrampur Chini.
Okay. Ravi, on the charts, what would you say about the best entry points for these two counters? And from the rest of the companies, do any stand out?
Yeah, definitely. Balrampur Chini is also right now is trading at 431. today we have seen correction in sugar industry overall 1.5%. But yeah, when it come at around 420 levels, then attraction will again going on. So we can buy at near 420 levels for the target of 480 to 500 levels for the longer term, and put the stop loss of 400 rupees. Same with the Dalmia sugar also is the same chart pattern is going on. Right now is trading at 450 levels, and again we can see the level of 500 510. So I think these two stocks looking good. But yeah, most of the Renuka sugar is also in attraction, and we may see the level of 60 to 65 levels again. So I think sugar industry maybe there is a 2 or 3% correction would be on the technical front. The all stocks are looking good.
Interesting. All right. So sugar is the place to watch out for, very certainly. We've got Nikita who's asking about Cochin Shipyard. She's bought 10 shares of this company at a price of 580 way back in 2017. The stock has nearly doubled, and she's thinking of selling. What would the target and the stop loss be? So first, I'll go to you, Ravi, on the charts and ask you what the trend is, and then I'll also get a fundamental view because she's held it for so long, Rohan. I want to know whether she should continue to do so. But first on the technicals.
Yeah, his technical is looking very strong because Cochin Shipyard overall stock is looking good because these days all the shipping yard companies are going well. But yeah, on technical front, the most of the parameter like RSI, MACD, and MA is indicating the strong uptrend inherent is the counter. So stock of Cochin Shipyard may touch the level of 1600 for the longer term, and we can hold the position with the stop loss of 1150.
On the fundamentals then, Cochin Shipyard, Rohan, what's the view?
So I'll tell you one of my favorite quote is, in decades nothing happens, and in a year decades happen.
Yeah.
So shipyard companies and specifically into PSUs and all the things which I think has happened from last one decade. I would really suggest not to book your winners. This company is yet to do. The valuation are still propelling, and a lot of things are going to happen in greenfield shipyards and shipyards on a whole. So it's time to hold the company and look forward for better returns in coming years.
All right. We've got a follow-up question on the sugar space. Then Rashida, who asked a question earlier, is asking about Renuka Sugar specifically. She's bought at levels of 11, and she's wondering whether to sell it. It's a great buy price, Ravi. The stock is currently trading above 50 rupees per share. Would you suggest this is a good opportunity to book profits?
As I told that Renuka Sugar is very strong uptrend. So we may see the level of 62 or 65. So put the stop loss of 48 rupees because your buying price is very good. But you let run the profit and take it more profit to the 62 level. So 62 or 65 you can take again, ask again the question. So if comfortable level, then you can book it.
All right. So make sure, Rashida, that you check in with us in not too long from now. But let's take a couple more questions. We've got Archit who's asking about the PSU pack. And there are quite a few stocks to talk about here, of course. Particularly in the PSU banking space, you've seen a few names that have gone up very sharply in the recent past. So, Rohan, based on the fundamentals, which PSU stock do you like the most at this juncture?
So we have been very high bullish on PSU post-COVID, and specifically our the funds in the fund what we have invested. We like still SBI. We find there's a huge value in SBI. Looking forward for all the banking and financial companies across. We also like PFC. Yet the company has been at the level near about the level of the price what was before 7-8 years, and yet the valuation is on a very very upper scale. There's one more company which is getting more and more orders, that is BEML, Bharat Earthmovers Limited. 17 years, nothing has happened to the price. And in last 3 months, the order book has just doubled out, and the way the order is coming has been exemplary. So three companies from us: SBI, BEML, and of course PFC.
Okay. We've got a bunch of questions that are trickling in. We've got Raj who's asking about PSP projects, Lumax, and Sri Digvijay Cement, all on the technicals. What are the levels that you're watching out for, and what are the recommendations that you can give, Ravi?
I go to one by one. Lumax
Yes.
Industries now trading 24.21 and very strong uptrend on the daily front because long-term moving averages are supporting that counter, and we may see the level of 2600 in near term. But if you talk about a longer term, then definitely 2800 for the stop loss of 2200. And another one is
Okay, so I will take you through the second one. The next one would be PSP projects. And the third one would be Sri Digvijay Cement. I don't think he's taken a position yet. Raj, I think he's wondering whether to enter into these counters.
PSP project now is trading at near to 800 levels, but on the daily front is in a profit booking zone. So we may see the profit booking till 760 level. So I think we should wait for the good level, because once you see the level of 760 or 740 levels, then you may enter with a stop loss of 720, and in 3-month prospects the target would be the 880 to 880 to 900 levels. And in cement sector, I think best of the stocks is India Cement or Ambuja Cement. On technical front is looking good, so we can take the Ambuja Cement or India Cement positions.
One last question, and I think this is quite an interesting question, and based on the fundamentals. Then Rohan, this one's for you. Vishesh is asking, and I think this would help a lot of the viewers tuning in as well. If you've got a few stocks that you would like to acquire over a period of time in an SIP mode, and this is if you've got 40,000 rupees per month to invest, which is quite a sum of money. Which 4 or 5 stocks would you pick to invest in over a 10-year time horizon?
See, I've been a fund manager of a SIP fund stocks. Believe me, it doesn't work. There are a lot of issues into SIP buying stocks. Rather, I would be telling you that if you don't want to go forward for a mutual fund, one of the best things what you do is put it into an ETF called a Next 50. Or something which is extremely sectorial. There are a lot of issues when you say 10 years down the line of collecting the stocks. It's very hard. You can go forward for companies which are like Asian Paints, HDFC Bank, Bajaj Finance, but it is very hard to buy the companies when it doubles up, and it's that 40,000 goes for a toss when the stock goes over. So I'll beg a pardon and recommend you not go for a stock SIP. Stock is to be acquired and index are to be accumulated. So we need to understand this difference while investing.
Okay. So fair point. That's a fair point, because as the ticket price goes up, it becomes harder to continue that same strategy. But having said that, let's assume then that we've got Vishesh, who creates a corpus of investable amounts which he can use to deploy in lump sum manner over an ongoing period. So let's talk about accumulating some of these stocks over a period of time. Which 4 or 5, based on the fundamentals, can you say are a no-brainer purchase on a regular basis whenever you get the opportunity?
Yeah, so I think so. I can tell so many 10 or 15 of them, but which comes right now to my mind, I think so it would be the right thing. I think so. One is Titan. Second is you can go forward for a Bajaj Finance, just on the finance side. Third, you can go forward for no-brainer of Nestle. Go anywhere. MAG is a part of it. Asian Paints is one of them. And the last would be, I've consistently said this company to do fantastic, and it is pretty light. Superior management, superior quality of products, super dominance of the business, and I don't see next 5 years anybody coming to take that dominance into it. But please understand this: all five companies are extremely well valued, so you don't expect a huge returns out of it, because when you are expecting some great companies where all the everybody knows out of it, you have to expect a decent return to it, not very high returns for the same.
Fair point. All right, gentlemen, we're out of time on this particular show, and viewers, we're completely out of time, but then we'll be back tomorrow live to get all of your questions answered. Gentlemen, thank you so much for joining in and for answering all of the questions that you did. Viewers, that's all for Ask BQ today, but do stay tuned. Lots more coming up on BQ Prime over the course of the day.